let's begin the review now. They have a 17-minute portion of the exchange on the deity of Christ. Let's go.
Christ is the firstborn of every creature, and he's a creature.
It doesn't say he's a creature. Does he have his father's nature?
Does it call him the firstborn?
Does he have his father's nature?
He has his father's nature.
Oh, so he's uncreated. Is the Father uncreated?
The Father himself is not created. For the record.
Thank you. And you said Jesus has his nature. You lost.
So question for Captain, is Jesus angelic being that was created or second person of Godhead?
I would go with kind of both of them, meaning I don't know if I would say angelic, because he outranks the angels, but his power is greater than that. As far as the Godhead goes, in Colossians, we're all supposed to be a part of that Godhead. So
see that in Colossians, we're all supposed to be part of that Godhead. Now, because Tazariak is not educated, again, lies and slanders of people in the comment section. You see, every day I have to go through the comment section, and I have to cuss out at least a couple of people and their mothers for being Shia prostitutes. So the old Sam surfaces in the comment section because they don't learn their lesson. They think their opinion matters, that I have to hear it. And when I cuss them out, then they play victim like narcissists. Someone was attacking me for mocking him for mocking Jay. You see how stupid these people are? Tazariak called Jay the N-word, called him the B-word, right? Cussed him out. When I call this gorilla a disgusting, uneducated gorilla, now they say, oh, look at you, you're mocking. Yeah, you stupid, demonic bastards. I'm training a fool according to his folly. What don't you get, man? Are you guys that were stupid, man? You're so disgustingly stupid. You need to be locked away and never seen again and never be allowed to see the light of day, because you're so stupid and slow in getting the point.
So the head of every woman is the man. The head of the man is Christ. The head of Christ is God. That's the Godhead. So Christ would be our head. Christ would be, if you go by rank, the Father or the Most High is number one. Christ.
You see us nodding his head?
Christ is number two. Then you would have the order after that. So that's how you actually look at it from a biblical standpoint.
Can I respond?
Yep.
In Hebrews 1, it says, to the Son, the Father says, your throne, O God, is forever and ever. A scepter of righteousness is the scepter of your kingdom. The Father is referring to the Son in this prophetic psalm as God. So fundamentally, again, we have a person who doesn't understand grammar and how words work. They don't always have one referent. They can refer to multiple things. Ironically, he even admitted this in his closing statement.
Let me explain what the point is. Clubber Lang, yep. Let me explain what the point is. You have what's called in language sense and reference. Sense and, are you ready now? We're going into class. Class has begun. Lord, bless our numbers. Keep us content. Keep me humble and teachable, and do not destroy me in your wrath. Okay, let me explain. You guys with your sense and reference. All right. A term may have a different sense, a different meaning, depending on the referent. A term may mean something different depending on the term's application. You understand? Sense and reference? Term, its application. So the term God will have a different sense, different meaning, depending on the context in which it's used and who or what it is referring to. You want me there? You see the point? Who or what it's referring to. Because Tazariak is uneducated, he doesn't know the Bible, he doesn't understand this principle. This is what Jay is saying. Listen, some of you can dislike Jay, that's okay. Divorce your thinking from your emotions. Do not throw out the baby with the bathwater. Chew the meat, spit out the bones, right? I learned from even people that dislike me and I dislike them. Look, Trent Horn, I learn a lot from him, and I share his videos because he does great stuff. He sucks in many ways, but he does great stuff. So even if you don't like this guy, it doesn't matter. Here he's representing the Trinity. Here he's glorifying the triune God. Put your emotion aside. Focus on the argument. He's right. Sense, reference. Sense, reference. Tazariak thinks that you can just quote verses where someone like Moses is called God, and this somehow affirms his point that Jesus can be called God without Jesus being the Most High. And so Jay's trying to educate him. Buddy, you don't understand how language works. Just because the term God is used in a particular way with a particular meaning for a particular person doesn't mean that this term God has the same meaning or application everywhere else. You understand? You understand? Because Tazariak didn't understand.
Can I say something to that? When you read the next verse, first of all, Hebrews 1:8 is a quotation of Psalms the 45th chapter in reference to David's throne, which is also the throne of God. So you can read how Solomon sat on the throne of the Lord in 1 Chronicles 29 and 23.
But when you read,
I'm going to explain Tazariak's point in a moment.
Read the very next verse. It says, "Thou hast loved righteousness and hated iniquity. Therefore God, even thy God, hath anointed thee." As I said earlier, Psalms 82 says, "Ye are gods." God made Moses a god. So the subject is not about being called.
Thank you for making my point.
The subject is about, is Jesus the Most High God when he is not? He has a God.
Again, it's a both and. The Father is the Most High God, and he has the same nature as his Son.
Okay. We're going to have some fun. We're going to go in depth. We're going to have a meat fest if you pay attention and be patient. I promise you're going to learn a lot. What did Tazariak did? What every anti-Trinitarian does. Have you noticed it's the same script with every one of them? Unitarians, Greg Stafford, him. Psalm 82 came up again. Psalm 82:6. I said, "You are gods, and all of you are the sons of the Most High." Exodus 7:1 came up again, which he's going to mention. "I will make you God to Pharaoh." God speaking to Moses. And he says, see, Moses is a created God. So it's the same script. Then he says in Hebrews 1:9 that Jesus has a God over him. So it doesn't matter Jesus is God. He's not the Most High. I'm going to get to those texts again. But what I want you to focus is on Jay's method of refutation. What Jay's trying to get him to see is this. It doesn't matter whether these passages apply the term God to these beings. What matters is, what does it mean for Jesus to be God? So he's going to ask him a question. Does Jesus have the same nature of his Father? Understand how he's going to respond? Pray for me, man. I don't know, allergies, my throat. May the Lord have mercy on me. Okay. Does Jesus have the same nature of his Father? Because Moses doesn't. Those gods in Psalm 82 don't. Solomon does it. And he still doesn't get Jay's point. Listen to his point.
Because Hebrews 1:8 is about Jesus. The argument in the chapter is that Jesus is above the angels because he created them. You cannot be a creature and not a creature if you are a divine person. You have to be the same nature as the one that you came from. So if he came from an eternal Father and he's not a creature, then he is God. You can't have half God.
Colossians 1:15 says, "Who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature." There is no creation for the Father, but there is a creation for the Son.
See that?
John 1 describes that as an eternal begetting.
He just
You
said
don't even understand the
Christ
things
is
that
not
you're citing.
created. It says the firstborn of
You understand
every
that Hebrews
creature.
1 is arguing that he's
God
not
is not
created because he's
created.
a creature.
That's why he's the
The
ancient of
firstborn
days. And
son.
the son is not.
It doesn't
So
say that
you
he's a
can't
creature
say,
in
it
Colossians.
says the firstborn
It
of
does not say
every
he was
creature.
created in
It
Colossians. It
says
says
the
he's the firstborn
firstborn of
of the
every
Father.
creature. The Father is not born, right?
Okay, we'll get it.
Of course not.
Okay,
The
then.
Son is.
If the Father
That's
is
what
not
picks him
born,
out.
then that means there's a time when the
Yes.
Son
No, it
was
doesn't.
not.
No,
If the
because
Son
John
had-
1
the Son had
elucidates
to
that
be
there was
born,
never
right?
a time when he was
Did
not.
the Son had to be
John
born?
1
Did
elucidates
the
that
Son
this
have to
Okay.
be born? It's just a
Hey,
simple question.
John
AK,
1.
AK, fellas.
That's
Let
a simple question.
okay, fellas.
Let me answer your question.
Yep. Jay, go ahead and answer his question.
Right, so
Did the Son
you asked me a
have-
question, dude.
Captain, you asked the question. Just let him answer it.
Okay.
In John 1, we have in the entire chapter a discussion of what it means to be the firstborn, what it means to be the eternally begotten son. You cannot have a time where you come to be if you are forever in the bosom of the Father, eternally begotten. So when you read John 1, is this guy possessed? Like,
You see Jay's reaction? Do you see his reaction? You see he just stopped because he started laughing, right?
what are you even laughing
Is the
at?
Son born? If the Son is born and the
That's
Father is not born, then there's a time when it was the Father without the Son because the
It's
Son
an
was born. That's
eternal
common
begetting.
sense.
In John
That's what
1,
it says.
it's an eternal
It
begetting.
doesn't
Did
say
you not hear what I
eternal
said?
beget. It doesn't say eternal begetting.
Yes, it does.
Where?
Yes, it does.
Where?
There's too many points they're bringing up.
Because in John 1:1 that you referenced, it says in the beginning.
I'm talking about after that. If you get later in the chapter,
Yeah, let me see. 14 says, and the word was made flesh and dwelt among us as we beheld the glory as the only begotten of the Father, full of grace.
right there,
Right.
who
But
was
saying,
always in the bosom of the
it says,
Father.
we beheld the glory
Who was
of
always in the bosom of the
where,
Father.
where does it say the bosom?
There's no such thing as a created God.
Where
You
does
think
it
there's
say-
created God?
I'm
Where
going
does
to
it say-
interject right here.
Okay, when God made Moses a God, didn't he create a God? Ah!
The word God has
Exodus
different
7:1.
references,
God
as
said to
I've been
Moses,
telling you this
behold,
whole
I have
time, you
made
idiot.
thee a God.
You are an
Did
idiot.
God-
I've been telling
did
you. That's
God
my
create
point
a
this whole
God?
time.
Did God create a God?
The word
Listen.
God has multiple references.
Did
I've been
God-
telling you this
you
whole
said,
time.
You're telling me God can create a God? And I just gave a verse that God
Verse-
was God.
I'm
Did
explaining
God
it to
Well,
you.
Cap,
Verse
that's
18.
equivocation, Cap.
It's equivocation
Why
because
you helping him with equivocation?
Well,
You
it's not a
understand
help. I'm trying to bridge the gap
he doesn't know
of the
what equivocation
confusion.
Ain't no bridging of no gap. He
You
said
know what
God
equivocation is?
can't be created.
Can you tell me what equivocating
There was
means?
a time when the
What does
Father
it mean to
was and the
equivocate?
Son. I don't know the
2 more
definition.
minutes, I'll get
There's
it.
Exactly.
a time when the Father
Exactly. So
was
you don't.
and
You're
the
not.
Son.
You don't know
But
grammar.
what I do know
Yeah.
is that it says Christ is the firstborn
All right.
of all creation.
Verse
Yeah.
So out of
18
all the
says,
creation
yeah,
of
I'm
the
ex-
Father. So
you
out of
understand,
all the creation
listen.
of the Father, the Son is the first. Christ is the first.
All right.
But the
John
Father
1
not
is
created.
a
That means
further
that there's a
elucidation.
time that the
Shut
Father
up.
was
Good
not.
God, dude.
Now
Okay,
now
Cap.
you got your feelings.
Okay. Let's stop here. I'm going to go into some meat. Remember the 6-minute, 48-second mark. 6-minute, 48-second mark. We're going to do a lot of meat now. Son of his right. Get ready for meat. John 1, right? Colossians 1, Exodus 7. Let me just tell the ladies here. Okay. You guys, after an hour? An hour and a half? Then when? Oh, okay. Last time, give me about 40 minutes. Let me finish this part. Okay, hold on. Okay, let's go through John 1, Colossians 1. She set me up. I'm going to have to come back tonight as well. She set me up, this little chicken, because she told me she's going to swim. But I want to go through this at least with you, and I'll be back, God willing, tonight. I didn't do nothing yesterday. I wanted to give my throat some rest. Pray God will strengthen my throat. It stays with me till I die. Right? So anyway, let's go through it. Colossians 1, does it say Jesus is a creature? No. No, it doesn't. But Megillah Gorilla won't understand. So remember the timestamp? 6:48, 6 minutes, 48 seconds. He likes to use the King James Version. So let me just use the King James Version here. Let's go through Colossians because this is their favorite text. So when he brings it up, you already know how to respond, refute it later. Okay. Real quickly, and I'll give you an article on this. Should I bring up the article? Yes, I'll bring up the article. Hold on. Let's just do this. Brutus. We've already addressed this millions of times. I'm adding these also to other playlists like refuting objections to the Trinity. But let me just go to King James real quick. He likes the King James, you know. It's ironic because the guy can't even understand English and he's reading Shakespearean English, which accounts for stupidity. But nonetheless, let me get you the article that I wrote on this. Firstborn, Job 18:13. Here's one article. We're going to go through this right here. Here's one article. Okay. We're going to show you why Einstein is kind of so. Now, in this, I'll link to other articles where I go very in-depth. Supreme overall creation. Must read. You must read these articles. You must. They're all about firstborn, Colossians 1:15, its meaning and application. And here I show you, again, what I'm about to show you from the King James. All right? Fully documented. Save the materials, upload them. Our brother, Lord Jesus Christ Reigns, has also started his own blog, so we'll be saving these. So, first of all, let's see. The genius, he's not too bright. I got to do this for my throat. Right? Colossians 1:13-18. Sorry. Who hath delivered us from the power of darkness and hath translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins, who is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of every creature. Genius thinks that he's the firstborn of those created. Is that what it says? No. Because learn how to read context. Learn how to read context, okay? I want you to see that whenever you see the word for or because or so, that means the next line is going to clarify and explain what was said previously. You guys got it there? The next line is explaining what was said previously. So now he's going to explain to you why Jesus is the firstborn of every creature. Then you're going to know what it means. You ready? And why call him firstborn? Okay. For by him were all things created. End of story. How can he be part of creation if he is the one that the Father appointed to create all created things? Did he create himself? Did he create himself? So, that can't be the meaning. So what does it mean? 18 will tell you. For by him were all things created, that are in heaven, that are on earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by him and for him. Now notice this is present tense. He is, not was. He is and will always be before all things, in two senses. In term of transcendence, he is supreme over all things, sovereign, supreme, transcendent, greater than, separate from all things, timelessly so. That's why he uses is. And he has always been there when all things did not exist. You guys catch it? You with me there? Now, what are all things? All creation. Now, it says every creature, but you can also render it firstborn of all creation. So how can he be created, how could he be part of all creatures when the context tells you he's the one that created every created thing, that created all creation, and that all creation was created for him. All creation is his possession. So did he create himself for himself, to own himself, and he's before himself? And by him all things consist. You know what that means? He's the one who is preserving every created thing, all galaxies, all stars, every atom, proton, neutron, electron, every cell. He is preserving all of this, guiding all of this, sustaining all of this, giving life to all of this. And that still doesn't convince you must be almighty? Have you looked at the vastness of space? Have you seen the stars, the billions of galaxies? You're telling me a finite creature is personally sustaining and preserving all things alive? Have you even looked at the universe? Just this statement alone should blow your minds away. Christ is responsible with the Father and Spirit to preserve the billions of galaxies, the billions of stars, not just the earth, and every creature and insect and animal and marine life and every cell. He's sustaining all of that by his word. And this still doesn't make you see that he is Almighty God? You serious? It doesn't make you see that? He is the head of the body, the church, who's the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, meaning the one who conquered death. He conquered death. He's supreme over death by swallowing up death by his resurrection and mortality. Now, why did he do all that? Here's the meaning of firstborn. That in all things he might have the preeminence. That's the meaning. So now, let me unpack the range of meaning for firstborn. Firstborn can mean the one born first, who is the heir, because he's firstborn. And because he is the firstborn, he has the highest position and rank and status. Well, we know firstborn has two meanings in reference to Christ. He's the heir. The inheritance is his. How do we know? It was created for him. So he's the firstborn, meaning the heir. We also know he is supreme, preeminent, superior, supreme over all creation. So now we know firstborn means he's preeminent. It's right there. But what it doesn't mean he's the first creature. You understand? What it doesn't mean is that he's a creature. You see my point, right? Firstborn can have three meanings. The one born first, who is the heir, and he has the highest position. Well, here we know Christ has the highest position. He's preeminent. And we know he's the heir. But it doesn't mean he's the one born first. How can it mean that when we're told he is responsible for creating every created thing? That means he exists when there was no creation. Now, are there examples in which the term firstborn doesn't mean the one born first? Yeah, you ready? And by the way, I want you to understand, this is talking about the Son as the Davidic king, Messianic king. How do I know? Note, it talks about the kingdom of his dear Son, the kingdom of the Son that he loves. Keep that in mind. So it's talking about Christ's rulership. It's in this context that David is called God's firstborn. Watch here. Then thou spakest in vision to thy Holy One, and saidst, I have laid help upon one that is mighty. I have exalted one chosen out of the people. I have found David, my servant, with my holy oil I have anointed him. Now, please listen. I have found David, my servant. He's not talking about Solomon. He's talking about David, right? Everyone got it, Rumble? Okay. What does God say about David? He shall cry unto me, thou art my father, my God, and the rock of my salvation. Also, I will make him my firstborn, higher than the kings of the earth. Here it is an example where the term firstborn doesn't mean the one born first. What do I mean? David wasn't the first son of Jesse. He was the youngest of 8 sons. That's 1 Samuel 16. Nor was he the first king of the earth. Nor was he the first king of Israel. So he was not the first king, period. The first king of Israel was Saul. So why is he the firstborn? Because of status. What did I say firstborn can mean? The one who's highest, supreme, preeminent, higher than the rest in status. And that's exactly what God says. He's my firstborn, higher than the kings of the earth. Everyone got it? Here I just proved to you the term firstborn means preeminent, supreme, higher than the rest, not the first one born. You must be new here, brother. You know how many sessions I've done in Colossians 1? Right? And what's the relation to Christ? It's about kingship, right? What's the context of Colossians? Christ, the Messianic King, his rulership, his kingship. In other words, being the greater David, he too is firstborn, but not in the sense of the one born first, but in a similar sense to David. Correct? You see it? All right. Maybe you're not satisfied. Joseph was the 11th son, and I'll go to my article for this one. Let's go to my article. Joseph was the 11th son. He wasn't the first. Okay. With that said, let's go down here. Now I want to ask you a question. I gave you the link to the article. Okay. Let's go here. Let's go down here, man. Shut your pie hole, dude. Let's just do this. 37. Okay, I want you to watch something here. Joseph in Genesis 37, 5 to 11 is son number 11, right? He's son number 11. And I give you the receipts here. He's not the youngest. He's the second youngest, but he's not the oldest. Correct? I give you the receipts. All right. But here's what's interesting. Here's what's interesting. Watch who Joseph is. Sons of Reuben. Reuben was the firstborn. He was literally the first son born to Joseph. I'm sorry, Jacob. So he is the first one born. Reuben, now the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, for is the firstborn, but because he profaned his father's bed, he slept with his father's concubine. His birthright was given to the sons of Joseph, the son of Israel. Oh, did you see it there? Black and white? Do you see it there, black and white? You can be the first son born and lose the birthright, and your birthright given to someone else. Who was the firstborn in terms of birthright, inheritance, and status? Son number 11, Joseph. So Reuben, though born first, he's not given the status or the birthright of the firstborn because he defiled his father's bed, slept with his father's concubine, so that he's not recorded in the genealogy according to the birthright. So who is firstborn of Jacob in terms of birthright and status? Joseph. So he's not recorded in the genealogy according to the birthright. Though Judah prevailed over his brothers, and from him came the ruler, yet the birthright belonged to Joseph. So the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, were Hanoch, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. Did you call it? You see it right there, black and white? See it right there, black and white? Here are two different senses, meanings for firstborn. Someone born first, and someone who's not born first, but has the birthright, the status of firstborn. Reuben, born first, but he doesn't have the status. Joseph, born son of number 11, he has the status. Though he's the 11th son, he is supreme, preeminent, greater than his brothers, Lord over his brothers, and he was given the inheritance. Okay, so don't let him lie to you and deceive you that if Christ is firstborn, that means he's the first creature. No. David, the firstborn of the rulers of the king of the earth. He's the second king of Israel, the youngest of 8 sons. Joseph, the firstborn of Jacob, but he's the 11th son. You can be firstborn in terms of status and inheritance. Firstborn, you're the highest. Firstborn, you have the inheritance. That's the definition Paul gives in reference to Christ. You still may not be convinced. So let me show you other examples. Here, I show you where the word firstborn, bechor in Hebrew, prototokos in Greek, cannot mean the first in a series. Why? Job 18:13 says, the firstborn of death eats parts of his skin. It eats parts of him. Talking about Job's disease. What does it mean, the firstborn of death? Death actually has children? No. Firstborn means the deadliest of diseases. Here it is, amplified. The firstborn of death, the worst of diseases. Amplified Bible. It eats away parts of his skin. The most terrible death devours him. Where am I quoting? New English Translation. Firstborn of death means the deadliest disease, not death's literal firstborn. Here it is. Note. The firstborn of death is the strongest child of death, or the deadliest death. Like the firstborn of the poor, the poorest. The phrase means the most terrible death. Only someone as stupid as Tazariak would think that firstborn always means the first in a series, the first one among others. He comes first chronologically. Death's firstborn means the deadliest disease. See it? Though literally it's firstborn of death. You understand how the term firstborn is being used? You guys see how it's being used? Here's another example, Isaiah 14:30. And the firstborn of the poor. It's talking about the literal firstborn child of a poor person? No, that's not what it means. The firstborn of the poor will graze, and the needy lie down in safety. But I will kill your root with famine. Your remnant will slay. What does it mean, the firstborn? It's plural, of the poor. The poorest of the poor. Here it is. The poorest of the poor will find pasture. Now, I was supposed to put the translation here. Damn it. I think this is NET. The foremost of the poor. You see now what poorest of the poor mean? Poorest of the poor, the foremost of the poor, that's what firstborn of the poor means. See it right here? Like the firstborn of the poor, the poorest. You see how the term firstborn is being used? The preeminent, that which is preeminent, that which is supreme. In these contexts, the deadliest disease, the poorest of the poor. Okay? Let me see what translation it was because I got to go correct it in my article. Sucks being me. Okay. Sorry, guys. I just got to see. Okay? You're glad we're doing a review because I'm refreshing your minds of things that we've already discussed. Let me see. What was it? Hold on. What was it right here? Foremost of the poor. So you got to see what translation is. Foremost of the poor. LSB. Oh, that's why. I didn't mention it because I say that I'm using LSBs. That's why I don't have it. Because at the end, I'll tell you, unless noted otherwise, scripture references taken from Legacy Standard Bible. Okay, now did we establish the case? Firstborn does not mean the first one created. And if you want more proof, let me show you another thing to show you how stupid he is. What's up, Joey Pesto? To show you how stupid he is. You ready? Another to show you how dumb he is. If you take the phrase firstborn of all creation literally, you got a problem. You know why? Firstborn of all creation. When you see the term used, well, pray, because other people don't think that. Firstborn of all creation used. When you see the phrase firstborn of, now you got a problem because it means that that's the firstborn of the person or thing that produced him or her. Okay, let me explain. Because now you're going to see how it's going to backfire. Firstborn of means the first thing, person, produced, begotten by someone or something. You get it? If we go with a literal translation, like he wants to, you got it, son of his right hand. Firstborn, the first thing, first person, produced, begotten by that thing, that person, of which you are said to be the firstborn of, right? So according to Einstein, if we take this literally, creation produced Christ as its firstborn. See how stupid he is? Okay. I will demonstrate here. I will highlight the fact that when this phrase is used elsewhere in the God-breathed scriptures, it refers to the first offspring produced or begotten by the particular thing, individual nation, group, etc., which that specific individual thing is said to be the firstborn of. Here, let me give you an example. See how stupid it is? It just backfired, right? Let's follow the logic here. Genesis 4:4. Abel on his part also brought the firstborn of his flock. Firstborn of the flock means that which the flock produced. Genesis 25:13. Nebaioth, the firstborn of Ishmael, meaning that whom Ishmael begot first. The firstborn of Ishmael was Nebaioth. All right. That's, again, I give you this read, Genesis 25:13, 1 Chronicles 1:29. Genesis 36:15. The sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn of Esau, the first son that Esau begot. Okay. All they will die, the firstborn of the Pharaoh, meaning the first son that Pharaoh produced. To the firstborn of the servant girl and the firstborn of the cattle. Note how the phrase firstborn of means that you're being produced, begotten by that thing or person to whom you relate as the firstborn. Right? See how dumb this is, this argument? You see how dumb this argument is? Now watch. Again, Exodus 12:29. The firstborn of Pharaoh, firstborn of the captive, all firstborn of the cattle. Psalm 135:8. He struck the firstborn of Egypt, the firstborn children of their parents. So who produced them? The Egyptians. To him who struck the Egyptians through their firstborn. All right, how about here? Exodus 13:13 and 15. Every firstborn of man, the man who has a firstborn son, the firstborn of man, firstborn of the beast, the first livestock produced by the beasts, the firstborn of your sons you shall give to me. Are we seeing the pattern? Do I need to go on, or I made my case? Right? Did I make my case? Do you see it? That means if this idiot believes this is literal, that means every creature produced Christ first. Firstborn of every creature, firstborn of Pharaoh, Pharaoh's first son that he produced. Firstborn of every creature, that means every creature produced Christ, not the other way around. So he's not even the firstborn of God. He's the firstborn of creation. Creation fathered him, not God. See what an idiot this guy is? Okay, you see the idiot there? The idiocy? All right, now, ladies, let me know when you're ready. That we got that out of the way. We got that out of the way? So, firstborn does not mean the first one created in every context. Nor can it mean that in reference to Christ, because we're told he's the one that created all creation, preserves all creation, sustains all creation, and created all things for himself. Did he create himself then for himself? And he owns himself? You're told what it means. You're told right here. So that in everything he may be preeminent. He is supreme, preeminent, sovereign, by virtue of being the one who created everything, sustains everything, and superior to everything he created. So what was Jay's point? Jay was not denying that Christ is God's firstborn, nor am I denying that Christ is God's firstborn. We're denying the implication of Christ being the firstborn, meaning the first one created. Because he kept going to John 1. Now, what was he trying to say here? Let me now break it down. Okay, let me break it down. John and Tazarek agrees, Paul will not contradict each other. So, John told you that in the beginning was the Word, but he's so stupid that he thinks in the beginning means that's when the Word began, because he's slow. No, it means that when the beginning began, the Word was already there. How many minutes? All right, 10 minutes, sir. Okay, I'm going to do John 1, and then I'm going to come back later tonight. Got to do John 1 later tonight. We got to go. When the beginning began, he was already there. Not that he came to be in the beginning. See how stupid the guy is? In the beginning was the Word. That's why it says he was already there. Not in the beginning, the Word came into being. In the beginning, the Word already was. And the Word was with God, the Word was God. This one was in the beginning with God. So does that mean God also had a beginning? Let's unpack it. All things came into being through him. And apart from him, not one thing came into being that has come into being. In him was life, and the life was the light of humanity. Does that sound like a creature? So we're told once again, everything that has creaturely existence, every created thing, everything that came to exist, he made it. Nothing could exist in creation apart from the Word. And the Word is the source of life. In him was life. The life you enjoy is from him, and it is the life in him that illuminates you. Let's go to the King James Version, because he likes that. All things were made by him. Without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. So once again, like Colossians, this Word, who's the beloved Son, was already existing when there was no creation. If he's existing when there was no creation, then how can he be created? He can't. So both Colossians 1 and John 1 teach the firstborn Son, the Word, God's beloved Son, uncreated, separate from creation, and he's the creator and life giver of all creation. And then later entered creation and became flesh from the Holy Virgin. So there is that nature that is created that he united to himself. That physical body, human nature, created. But that person, uncreated. Still, John 1:10. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. Now, this is what Jay was trying to say. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. Jay was saying he can't be a creature if he eternally resides in the bosom of the Father. What did he mean? He was focusing on John 1:18. Okay. No man has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, which is in the bosom of the Father, he hath declared him. Now let me go a little deep, and I'll come back tonight, Lord willing, late night, to do continuation of this. I want you to note two things about the Greek. Okay? And this was Jay's point. Okay? Point number one. If you go here, you're going to see the verb. You're going to see the verb. Let me show it to you. Ein. E-E-N in transliteration. This word here. Go there, please. You'll see it's the imperfect tense. Imperfect tense of eimi. I need you to follow me. Okay. This verb ein, imperfect tense of eimi. Follow me, because this was Jay's point. The imperfect tense refers to continuous, you got to learn this, past action. Continuous past action. I even forgot how to spell it. Continuous. Can you believe it? I even forgot how to spell continuous. Anyway, ein refers to ongoing, continual action into the past, not future. Okay. The context will determine when that past action began. When did that action that stretches back into the past had a beginning point? Right? This is just Greek grammar. I'm not making it up. All right. Now, let me ask you a question. If John is saying, in the beginning, The Word was already continually existing. Continually existing back in the past when the beginning began. What do you have before the beginning? Literally it says, in the beginning, the Word was already existing. The Word was existing prior to the beginning. What do you have before the beginning? Timelessness, man. Timelessness. In other words, John is saying, unlike the things that he brought into being, he was always existing, continually existing, even before that moment. What before that moment? There was no time. It was eternity. Yes, that's exactly who the Word was. No, not preeminence, brother. You're slower than divine mercy. You understand? Do you understand what it means? So the literal translation of John would be, in the beginning of creation, the Word was already continually existing prior to that moment. That's what it literally says. Why do you think the early church fathers who knew Greek hammered on John 1? Hammered on John 1. In the creation, the Word was already continually existing prior to that moment. In other words, he's not a creature. We got that first point? We got that first point? Second point, John 1:18. This is what he was saying. This is where it's going to be amazing. John 1:18, right here, you're going to see something. It says, Ho-on, the being in the bosom. Ho-on, the being in the bosom. You see it right here? Ho-on is ton kolpon tu patros. Ho-on, ho-on, the being. That's present tense. Present tense. The being. See right there? Ho-on. The being in the bosom. You know why that's interesting? Because ho-on is the phrase used in Exodus 3:14 to affirm God is the being, the existing one. Same words. Ho-on. Claudia, how are you? Same words, Exodus 3:14 in the Greek. This is what he was saying. Now, do you appreciate I'm breaking it down? Because you see time limits? You didn't understand how powerful Jay's arguments were, right? Now, let me break down what he was saying. And then I'll come back later to do the rest. Gave you the link. You go to Exodus 3:14. Let me bring it closer now. Let's go right here. Boom. Ego eimi ho-on. Tell them ho-on has sent me. Here he is. And God spoke to Moses saying, I am the being. Let's look at it here. Ego eimi ho-on. I'm going to put it on the screen. And he said, thus shall he say to the children of Israel, the being has sent me to you. Huftos, iris, tis, viis, Israel, ho-on. There it is. Epestelki, mi pros, humas. Same words. Same phrase. Same words. Same phrase. Now understand Jay's point. See it? Same word? Now understand Jay's point. Notice it's used of Jesus. Same words in Greek. The being. If the phrase hoon refers to God being the existing one, the one who is existence, who is being, not has being, he is existence, he's life. There is no life without him because he is existence, being itself, life itself, grounding all other existences. That means if he is the being, he is the one who is eternal, uncreated, timeless. And hence, if Christ is the being, that means he's the eternally, timeless, existing one who has been timelessly existing in the bosom of the Father. That's the argument. You understand the argument now? If he is the being in the bosom of the Father, and the phrase the being means the one who is existence, who is reality, who is life, who is being. And he's the cause of all other existences. Because he is the being from which all life stems. That means he is timeless, uncreated. Therefore, he has been timelessly, eternally residing in the Father from before creation. He was already existing before creation. He is existing and will forever exist in the bosom of the Father. That was what Jay's saying. You understand what Jay's argument was? Do you now appreciate Jay's argument of John 1:18? And how deep it was, but you think Jay could go in that level of depth with time limits? You think Jay could go in that level of depth and time limits? So notice two facts of John. John 1 says, when creation began, the Word was already continually existing, past existence. His existence extended into the past. How far back in the past? Well, before creation. Well, before creation, there's no beginning. So he's always been existing. And John 1:18 says he is the one, hoon, the being. Same phrase the Greek uses for Jehovah's eternal existing. Eternal existence. Hoon. Same words, look. Hoon, the being. Hoon, the being. Hence, if Christ is the being, and the phrase hoon means the being, the one existing, not used to exist, will exist, existing. And that phrase refers to God's timeless, uncreated nature. He is the being, he is reality, he is existence, he is life. And as such, there can be no beginning to that existence because that means someone else began him. But he's the ground of all existence. Then when it's applied to the Son, what does this tell us about the Son's relationship to the Father? What does it tell us about the Son's relationship to the Father? Rumble? So that said, God willing, I'll try to be back tonight. Pray. I entertain my daughters. Pray I can get my cardio in. I got to do at least 4 miles. And then I can be back tonight. If not, then I'm going to have to do it tomorrow. Lord willing. But I do want to finish this. Remember, we stopped at the 6-minute, 48-second mark, right? Now, do you appreciate what Jay was saying? Let's go back and hear it. You think Megillah You think Megillah understands any of this? Listen to the argument again now. And then we're going to wrap it up. Let's go a little earlier.
As I've been telling you this whole time.
You're telling me God can create a God, and I just gave a verse that God created a God.
I'm explaining it to you.
Cap, that's equivocation, Cap.
It's equivocation because
Why are you helping him with equivocation?
Well, it's not a help. I'm trying to bridge the gap of the confusion.
Ain't no bridging of no gap. He
You know
said
what
God
equivocation is?
can't be created.
Can you tell me what equivocating
There
means?
was a time when the
What does
Father
it mean to
was,
equivocate?
By the way, you guys
I
know
don't
what
know the
equivocation
definition.
means, right?
There's a time when the Father.
Equivocation means you assume that just because the same word is used in two different places, it must have the same meaning. To equivocate means you think because the same word is used in two different contexts, it must have the same meaning. Okay, sorry. All right, sorry. Let me know when you want me to break down something. To equivocate, okay, equivocate means if you use the same word in two different sentences, it must mean the same thing. So can I give you an example? Let me give you an example of equivocation. All right, you ready? Put a 1. You ready? I'm going to give you an example of equivocation. Right? The farmer got dirty by cleaning the pigs. The farmer got dirty by cleaning the pigs. By the way, Ortho Christos, you enjoyed my breakdown? The pigs locked me up and threw me in jail, those dirty pigs. Okay, let me repeat. The farmer got dirty by cleaning the pigs. Those damn pigs locked me up and threw me in jail, filthy, dirty pigs. That's equivocation. 2 minutes, I'm done, I swear. Tell her to get dressed. I'm done, I swear. Do you understand equivocation? Only someone as stupid as Tazariak would think the use of the term pigs in two sentences mean the same thing. Anyone with a brain would know when I said the farmer got dirty for cleaning the pigs, I'm referring to animals. But when I say those dirty pigs threw me in jail, I'm using it as a slur and insult to insult cops. Them dirty pigs threw me in jail. Only Megillah Gorilla would think the same animals in the farm locked me up and threw me in jail. That's equivocation.